And right now, we would like to welcome Chris Kuper, former Broncos offensive lineman, who's joining us today.
Oh, one of the greatest.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for that too. I'll take that.
You mentioned Claudie Miner, and I don't know that you've ever crossed paths with him, but Claudie Miner was a great offensive lineman back in the '70s, and I think you upheld that tradition. There has been, I would like to start out with, there has been just a great history of going back to Bobby Maples and some of those early people, and I wondered whether you ever studied the guys that went before you in the offensive line.
Probably the local guys, a little bit. I didn't always aspire to be an offensive lineman. I played quarterback until I was about 15, so I was a big Drew Bledsoe fan growing up, and followed those guys more than the offensive linemen.
How did you feel when Drew Bledsoe was pulled and Tom Brady took his place in the starting lineup?
That hurt a little bit, man. He went on in Buffalo and still played pretty well, but I mean, Tom did a good job, I guess.
I think you made a mistake shifting, because I believe if you were in a locker room, there's not one linebacker in the league that would have come up and slugged you. Do you think that would have been the case?
Oh, a quarterback?
Yeah, if you just
you would hope not. That's an interesting situation. I've never seen anything close to that in a locker room, especially with a quarterback. I've seen it with other positions, and I've definitely seen fights in the locker room, but not with the leader of the team.
Did you ever feel like punching out a quarterback, whether your own or somebody else's?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Phillip Rivers every time we play him, right? And definitely you get frustrated with your teammates. I mean, you're together more than anybody. You're with them more than your family. So, yeah, I feel like punching a lot of people here and there. Yeah.
Peyton, you ever feel like punching Peyton out?
Here and there.
Chris Harris said that when he was a rookie and he was playing against Phillip Rivers, Rivers was going back to huddle and said, "Kid, go back to Oklahoma where you came from." And he said, I wanted to tell him, I'm not from Oklahoma. He said, that was like the worst thing he could say to me. Right. Go back to a state where I didn't come from. Did you ever, but you didn't have to really interact with him.
No interaction with him. Just, I imagine, and I obviously know Orlando Franklin pretty well, and he plays with him. And every guy I've talked to that plays with him just absolutely love him because of his fire and his intensity and his leadership. It's just being on the other end of that. And early in my career, we had some bad games against them, and they beat up on us a little bit.
We've speculated he's going to be a free agent next year. We've speculated that if for any reason Peyton doesn't come back or Brock Osweiler isn't the answer, the Broncos could go out and get Phillip Rivers. How would you feel about Phillip Rivers in a Broncos uniform?
If he's in a Broncos uniform, my tune might change a little bit, for sure.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I think, and you just indicated that if he's on the other side, you hate him. If he's on your side, you just love him.
You hit him a little less.
That's what you want out of your. That's what you want out of your whole team. If that's the case.
Someone else told me that when he trash talks, he never uses a curse word, though.
No, yeah.
Did you? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
They don't go, "Gee whiz, why are you such a bad person?" or something like that.
We dealt with that a little bit with Doc, because Brian Dawkins never cursed either. So hearing him get all fired up and say some of the stuff, it's like, oh, okay, I get your point, but could have inserted that word.
Nothing ever slipped.
Not
with
really.
Dawkins?
Doggone it was about as bad as it got with Doc.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you comprehend? It's so difficult to play offensive line in the National Football League as a rookie, to have the potential of having three rookies in a lineup at the same time.
That's difficult. I know for a fact that I wasn't ready my first year, and I might have thought I was at the time, but getting in my second year and starting, looking back on it, I was not ready. So they got some work ahead of them for sure.
Coop, why do you think they're doing this? Sambrello, a rookie at left tackle, Max Garcia, a rookie at left guard, Paradis, a second-year guy who spent most of the time on the practice squad last year at center. As Woody said, a first-year guy, and really a first-year guy at center as well. I mean, what are they thinking? I mean, does this make sense to you? And do you think that will be the starting left side of the line when it comes to regular season?
I think Sambrello's a guy. That's the guy who they're going to play. They want to play left tackle, all right? So when we get into these preseason games is really when we're going to see who steps up, because practice is a completely different animal than games. The communication part is going to be difficult. The center does a lot of that in this offense. So if you got essentially a rookie communicating to left side line, you might need Lewis on the right side kind of helping them with those calls and stuff. So if that's what they go with, there's going to be some headaches. But I heard good stuff about Paradis last year.
Yeah,
players coming up saying he's going to be a good player in this league. And then I watched Garcia play. He's a big, strong dude, not as a fleet of foot, but not necessarily what you absolutely have to have anymore playing in the zone system.
They say he's got an attitude too.
Yeah, he's got something to him.
But you talked about the communication along the line, and I thought Tom Naylor was one of the best at that. He was such a smart guy that he actually, undersized, but he was able to communicate to everybody on the line.
You played with Tom 1 year, right?
3. I mean, I was with him for 3, but I never really got to play next to him.
Yeah.
He actually got hurt, and that was kind of my...
Yeah, when you started ascending, yeah.
But I was going to say that he, to me, was the epitome of someone in this kind of system.
Yeah.
That where you have to have smart linemen. You know, is that a fair assessment that you got to have really be smart in terms of playing this, in terms of as opposed to power blocking, a power run offense?
Yeah, I think it's predicated on what the system is. So I think this system is simpler for a rookie to learn. Okay, so I think if it was last year, having a rookie center, that would have been a huge issue. There was a lot of checks. A lot of the no-huddle stuff is very difficult for a rookie. So I think this is better if you're going to have a young group in there to learn. You can break the huddle. You can take a look at what you got up, defensively, and snap the ball and go. Whereas a lot of times we get up to the line, get in our stance, and we got an idea of what 2 or 3 plays are going to be called, but then you're calling the play and it's Omaha, we're going.
So I was out of camp today, and a former offensive lineman. It was Alumni Day.
Yeah.
What'd you want to say?
I'm laughing for a reason because everybody makes such a big deal out of Omaha, and as I said years ago, because he was doing it at Tennessee, that Omaha only means get ready. Now we're going to do the play, and there was some big secret of all that stuff and everything. But when he says Omaha, now we're ready. After he went through all the gyrations.
We're not the only team that does it. I mean,
I know
it's been around.
It's just whether it's Buffalo or Dayton or whatever it might be.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
All right, so I'm with an offensive lineman, a former offensive lineman, because it was Alumni Day out at Broncos camp today, and he said to me, the zone blocking scheme, especially for younger guys, is really a simpler scheme because all you're really doing, tell me if this is right, all you're really doing is making sure you get your body on another body and you take them with you. You don't have to worry about blocking that guy, blocking that guy. You just well, that's why I'm asking. You just find a body and you block him.
No, I think that's a little too simplified.
Okay.
Because that's where the center comes in. He comes up, he's going to make a mic point, and then all of our jobs are based off of that mic point. Okay, if you're on the backside of a run, you're going to have the will, or so we still have guys. It's just in the power scheme. I mean, you're really trying to drive guys off the ball. These guys are going to start running sideways because they don't know if they're on the front side, the back side, if they're going to get cut. They don't want to penetrate and leave a seam. I think physically it's a little bit easier if you have that skill set. But it's not just getting someone's way. I mean, I think that may be a little too simplified.
Okay. Well, they weren't my words. They were somebody else's. He's Chris Kuper, former Bronco, and all of our guests are brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.